Chainsmoker Cat, or Yani Neko, is an anime that literally just premiered and is already drowning in controversy, and there's some rumors flying around that Japanese viewers are stopping watching it in mass because it's quote-unquote too disgusting, while others are defending it, claiming it's an accurate representation of what the daily life of someone dealing with actual depression looks like. And all of this because of the very first episode. I've watched the episode, read the first few chapters of the manga. Actually, while I'm editing this, the second episode just released and I saw it too. And I'm here to give my 2 cents on the matter, especially since when it comes to mental health struggles, I have some empirical experience. Chainsmoker Cat is a seinen manga series that started the serialization back in 2023 by Kodansha. From what I've gathered, there are actually 3 authors working on this manga under the collective pen name quote-unquote Nyan Nyan Factory. The studio behind the animation is Byberry Animation Studios. The original manga's art is much simpler in terms of technical skill, while the anime looks way more polished. In fact, one of the first things to go viral was the opening sequence. They used a lot of pop culture references there. I personally only get about 4 of them, but then later I saw a full compilation. It looks like the whole opening sequence was full of references. Yes, the animation is beautiful, but why are people calling it disgusting? So, well, there's literally a scene of her taking a dump within the first 2 minutes of the episode. I couldn't believe it. I know, it wasn't like a funny cutaway like in White Chicks movie where you only can see the facial expression of the character and hear some noises. No, it wasn't like that. It was a shot of the poop leaving her body. Do you understand this? Obviously, it got a little censorship, but oh my god. So yeah, I think that people who found it gross definitely have a point here. Plus, right at the beginning, we can see her apartment, absolutely messy, pigsty, which by the way, it was beautifully animated. So that's a double-edged sword. As I mentioned before, the anime styles definitely elevated what we have in the manga, but in some aspects, I think it elevated too much. But in the manga, that bathroom scene I just mentioned, it's nothing more than just a single panel showing the sound effects behind the door. In the manga, it's not that explicit. However, all the other gross moments are right there on the page too. I mean, when she drops the cigarette on the pool, yeah, it has on the manga as well. To be honest here, toilet humor doesn't bother me so much. Dr. Slump is one of my favorite manga of all time, and it has some of the most creative poop jokes that I've ever heard. And Gintama as well, my favorite anime, uses this a lot, so this is not a deal breaker for me, but it is a bit too much, even for Gintama standards. But it's obvious that the anime wants to take that step further and push the boundaries of what's gross and go way beyond the source material. Contrary to the rumors, it doesn't look like Japanese fans are actually dropping the show, but opinions are definitely polarized. Some people can't watch it because it's too disgusting, others just don't care. In fact, one of the main viral posts that sparks this whole debate has now been flagged with a community post correcting the humors. At the end of the day, as far as I can tell, this is a gag/comedy manga, so it's going to use this kind of shock value for laughs, in my opinion. And regarding the mental health issues, obviously the anime wants to talk about this because it's showing a character with a severe addiction and hygiene issues. There's a moment where the protagonist, Yaniko, gets so overstimulated just thinking about cleaning her mess, and she ends up being paralyzed and just can't do anything. I've saw the argument that this is a more accurate depiction of poor mental health because it's not glamorized, and I can agree on that. On the other hand, I don't think most of people watching this are doing so because it's deeply profound. I think this is the environment that the mangakas are trying to build, but in the end of the day, it's a gaggy manga, it's a comedy, it's all about jokes, heavy jokes. Ultimately, I am pretty split on this anime. I mean, yeah, I can see both sides. I would say I'm on the fence about this. But saying people are just dropping the show because they, quote, can't handle real depression feels like a stretch for me. No one is obligated to keep watching or supporting something that makes them genuinely uncomfortable. But flip side, saying that it's the worst thing in the world, I think it's also an exaggeration. Bad mental health, it's real, it's visceral, it's not glamorous. Dealing with someone in that state, it's hard. And being the person going through this, it's even worse. It feels like every now and then the internet latches onto a word or a medical condition and throws away like it's nothing. And now, to make a little side note here, it happened with depression, with anxiety. People use these words like it's nothing. And right now, I feel like people are doing the same thing again, but with neurodivergence terms. Like people claim that they have a hyper focus on something just because they happen to be really interested in that week on something. As a neurodivergent person myself, it's a bit annoying. A real hyperfocus can disrupt your life to the point that you literally paralyze it. And other mental health issues, struggles, does the same thing. This urge to feel special, sometimes it's so harming for people who really struggles with stuff. I did a bit of a side quest here on this note. So yeah, even though the anime goes too far, in my opinion sometimes, I agree that it shows in a more accurate and realistic way how it is a life of a person dealing with mental illness. Anyway, this whole online discourse feels way too blown out of proportion. At the end of the day, you either watch it or you don't. But it really seems that people take it as personal attack whenever someone criticizes something they like. I actually think that this is a super interesting topic that I want to dive in the future. Why we project so much of our own identity into the media we enjoy. But yeah, enough talking about Smiley Cat for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.